Now we're live. That is both muted. Good day. Welcome
It's
to the broadcast.
Tuesday.
It is Tuesday. We played America the Beautiful because the women's gymnastic team just kicked butt and took home the gold, right?
Yeah, it was super exciting to see it. If anyone was watching, I watched the whole thing. It was so good.
Yeah, it was really good. Amazing. Now it's not over yet because they have gymnastics coming tomorrow. That's the men's, and then there's another one, like the all around, which I find more exciting, I think, right? Isn't that like the big one where they actually get medals for each thing? So they're like, you are the best at, A, B,
Yeah.
C.
Yeah, that's the individual. This was a
Mhm.
team, so that's pretty exciting that everyone was able to do their part and contribute to the gold. But then there's individual ones, right? They didn't do those yet.
I think so. I think the ones we watched the other day were qualifications. I don't know. I might be wrong.
Yeah, we're
That's
still
the
trying to figure it out. It's like every time we watch it, even though we watch it every time it's on.
we're like, what are they doing right now? Yeah, so welcome to the show. Welcome to the replay. I'm Tony. I am the web developer. I did put WordPress architect. I was trying to be fancy today.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow. I
I
just I
know.
just noticed.
Yeah, I actually updated my LinkedIn to say WordPress architect because I was like, that's kind of what I am. I don't designer and developer or things, but like we're art we build. So
I like that. I
thank
think it
you.
has a ring to it.
Yeah, you could steal it. Speaking of, I gotta find my wedding ring. It's somewhere. Yeah.
I
Every
gotta
time
I gotta find mine too. They
you had it today, shut up.
just kidding.
Every time they
No,
say it,
I know exactly where mine is, but, no, I took mine off because I was gardening today. We did some
yard.
work, outdoor work today.
We have a giant harvest, tons of cucumbers, tons of tomatoes. I can't wait to make some Sunday gravy with those.
Yeah, we got our tomato plants doing really well. We have, like, probably over 15 tomatoes that I take them off when they're green, just because if not, they're gonna, like, bust open and get bad because can't wait for them to turn red. Bugs will eat
Yeah.
them. So a trick is to put it in a brown bag with a red apple and leave it in a dark place, and it will turn red.
Yep. It's like a hack, a life hack. They're
Yeah.
looking green right now, so they'll turn red soon. Yeah, and we did the lawn, the mowing, and the weed whacking. It's a lot of grass going on out there, so
Yeah, definitely.
we're tired. So let's wrap this up now. This show is about, let's bring this cover back up. We're going to be talking about open issues. It could also be called whistleblower. It's more about solutions for WordPress issues and, more importantly, WordFence itself. We're going to be going over installing it on Three-Tone Digital. I took it off so we can go through the install process.
Oh, we're doing this live. Okay.
Yeah, might as well kind of show because it has changed. The process of doing it has changed, and it's a great plugin, and we'll talk about it in a second. So let me share my screen, and you're gonna see Three-Tone Digital. Three-Tone Digital. The back end. Don't hack it. So I took WordFence off, so you can hack our site right now. But I'm gonna install it again to go through the process of installing it. But want to go over what WordFence is first, Raina?
Oh, sure. So, um, WordFence is actually a really great community of developers who really work together in alerting what any critical alerts or vulnerabilities are, and it's collected. And WordFence is a plugin that you can install on your WordPress site that protects your site. It has a certain level of protection on it. But being part of the WordFence community, you can get alerts for any new updates, any new plugins that they're just alerting you and say, make sure this plugin is updated because there was a vulnerability that was given to us by a developer. and they have all these different more information about it, of course, like instances, like there's there's 1,000 instances of this happening with this plugin if you're using a outdated version. So it can go in further information and deeper than that, but long story short, it's great to sign up for the alerts, but just a little bit of a tip. If you do, you get a lot of emails. So make sure you have a separate email. It's important and it's good to like look and see, but you'll get flooded because there are a lot. There's a lot. WordPress has a lot of different plugins and a lot of different developers using it. And there's are things that happen. The hackers are more um, are in full fledged these days. So there's a lot to alert people about.
Yeah. Right on. And I was going to say, word fence itself is it could be used reactively, which we'll talk about in a second. But proactively is what Rain is more talking about. You put it on your site. The alerts. I mean, we have a lot of sites, so we get ultra amount of alerts. But I don't know, for one site, it is good to have if you have a one site situation and you want to know if it's going to be hacked or plugins or security patched, then you probably won't get too many emails. But when you start getting multiple sites, forget it all day. Word fence. I have a filter on mine that just says, "Don't put them in the inbox. Put them to the side," just
Yeah.
because. And the more plugins you have, the more alerts you're going to get, especially if you're installing plugins that aren't supported or are unpopular or hackable. But the other way to use WordFence, I've originally started using it for was reactive. So if there's a virus or malware on the site, WordFence will scan the site and tell you what doesn't belong. Remember that song? One of these things is not like the other. So it
Yeah.
looks at files and it says, is this file the same as it is on the repo? Because really, all the WordPress files that are on your machine or on the server should reflect what is on the repo or just the generic WordPress. So once something is off, it says this file is to blame or multiple are. Do you want to fix it? Sometimes if it's unfixable or extra files, it'll let you delete it. Sometimes you can't delete it. You have to go through FTP, but WordFence itself can be reactive and proactive. Proactive is the way to go because you don't want to be reacting to stuff. You want to protect the stuff first.
Yeah.
So
Right.
WordFence itself is a plugin, like Raina said. It's free. There is a pro, and the difference being that I don't know if you do you know the difference? It's a
Between
test.
between what?
The premium version and the non-premium version.
Well, I thought the premium, you're able to customize certain levels within like the firewall or does that have to do with sites, installing it on site?
Well, I think that's part of it too. There's probably more settings, but they actually say that without signing up, you are 30 days behind any sort of
Oh.
yeah. So if malware is detected, I'm not really sure if it's 30-day delay on firewall rules and malware signatures. So that's how they get to you. If you want to stay up on it, this is a small amount to stay up on, especially if your site is user-based, it stores credit card information, anything that's secure. Things that are blogs, personal sites, brochure sites, something that's not taking user information or data, I say the free one's good enough.
Yeah, I agree.
And they say right here, they're like, "Hey, are you sure?" And you have to say, "I'm okay waiting 30 days for protection from new threats." You know, so I'm gonna sign up just using my other email. No, we don't need any more alerts. Get WordFence free. You're almost done. They sent me an email, and now I'm going to go into, you can't see this part, I'm on my other browser. And I'm going to just get the key. So what they do is send you a key. It's a big, long key. All right, we're back here again. And what happened? Isn't it supposed to reset? Install an existing license. So this is where I would say the email that I entered and then the license key. This is what was sent in the email. I'm still going to say no for this. Install license. So once you do that, it's a small step. And I think they do it so they can target you after and say, "You sure you don't want to upgrade? You sure you don't want to upgrade?" So they have your email address. So once you install, it says free license installed. Go to dashboard, and you're going to see a bunch of stuff. They do have this tutorial that'll link you through it, but I think the most important pieces are firewall. Let's close these
Yeah.
down. We did that. Firewall is going to allow you to do a lot of things. There's an instant firewall that it learns first. So once you're in learning mode for a couple days usually, where it says, how is this site used? How is the attacks? Are there any attacks on it? Are there people trying to log in? So it learns and it builds this little script based on that. But from this, once it's done learning, you can limit rate. Very nice, Lennon. Can I see? Let me show your art.
Hmm.
Wow.
Wow. Okay.
Showing the whole
Very
world.
nice.
I think 1,000 people see it. They love it. They're throwing hearts up. Um, yeah, you can block countries, entire countries. You could block IP ranges, user agents, refers, host names, all these things. And there's a bunch of other littler options that you can go through. And I think that might be what you're talking about, Raina, where these options, a lot of them are probably available only on the premium.
Yeah.
Well, they should. I'm sure it's not just the 30 days thing. But you can get really deep in here, and you can pretty much, if there's a app, like a website application that you run, you could say only allow GET requests or posts, and only allow them from these addresses and such. So a lot of stuff inside of the firewall. What you do when you actually turn it on, it'll automatically be in learning mode. You don't have to do anything. Um, Optimize once it's done. So you can say, this is the date that it's going to stop. I don't change anything here. I let it learn and do its thing. Do you have anything to say about the firewall before I go to the scan?
No, I do the same. I think just letting the already best practice settings that are on there, I keep it on there as well. So that's a
Yeah.
good start. So you can start waiting for the learning mode to do its thing and see how it performs with those out of the box settings. I would
Yeah.
agree with.
Yeah. And there's a lot of settings in here. So if you want to say you get locked out, if you try to log in twice without the right password, which is probably good, 20 times is kind of a lot. That goes along with like a brute force, like somebody trying to guess a password. And there's a lot of other stuff in here. Recommend or enforce strong passwords so somebody can't enter password 123, which is my password for everything, FYI. Um,
No, it's not.
well, yeah, it's actually password 123 exclamation mark. Yeah, so I mean, firewall extensive. We won't go through the whole thing. We're not teaching WordFence today. We're pretty much saying the benefits of doing so. Now, that was the proactive, I would call that, and this is the reactive. So this is where you can scan your site, and it's looking and it's saying, let me look at all the files, let me look at all core files, all plugin files, and compare them against what I know to be true. Sometimes this can take a while because there could be a lot of stuff on the site. If it's a smaller site, I'm like, oh no, we have something. There are skip paths, which means things that it can't access if they're outside of the WordPress directory. But it'll go through your site, and then at the end, it'll send you an email. It'll also update this screen with a bunch of things saying there's something on your site that you have to delete, or it'll give you the option, or your site's clean and you're good to go. You can also delete all deletable and repair all repairable right from one button. In case you have, I've been on sites that are really hacked and there's like hundreds. You don't want to go through each one and say accept or update or repair, so you can do them all at once. I don't know how long this will
Yeah,
take.
and I would just say just make sure you have a backup too, because if there is something that is found and then you ask for it to remove it,
It's gone.
there is a slight chance it is gone that it could mess things up too. So making sure you have a backup
Yeah,
is
that's happened.
important.
It's
Yeah.
happened to me
Okay.
before, for sure. And I'm like, just delete, and it's like a really essential file. So yeah, backups essential. And there's also live traffic options, which will show you people requesting, what time they're visiting. This is more so you can identify if there's something shady going on your site. You can also look them up by their IP, be like, I know who this is on my site. Um, there's other options in here too. I use these less often because usually, I mean, we use things like analytics, of course, and Hotjar, so we can see the hits on the site in a different view. But I guess if you're looking for certain things, like if block people are trying to find it or actual humans versus a crawler, that information is going to be here. It's a lot of stuff in the WordPress plugin, huh?
Yeah, there is a lot. There's a lot of settings. There's almost like too much information almost, but there
Wow.
are just key places that you can go, and focus on those for now because it's its own beast sometimes, and if you get really customizable on things, I wouldn't really recommend it unless you actually have some data to go by.
Yeah, unless you know what you're doing too, right? Uh,
Yeah, definitely. Unless
this
you're in
is
security, I was gonna say, because that's a whole whole 'nother job being
yeah, exactly.
security.
What yeah. So this right here, which I want to turn on for our site, it's 2FA. So you'd scan this with Google Authenticator, and then every time you try to log into the site, you have to log into Google Authenticator and enter the code or paste it if it's on Bluetooth, which is really easy. Extra layer of security, meaning even if someone knows your password, they're gonna have to be you to look at your phone. Um, I turn this on for all alert. Listen to me, hackers. I turn this on for all of my apps. So watch your backs. That's not a threat because now it's like, let's see if we can hack them. Yeah, and then there's just all the options based on the other screens that you can find and link through. I think there's actually a search too, which is pretty cool in case you're trying to find something and you don't want to scroll forever. See if that scan was done. Scan is still going. Looks like we're good. This is just that. This means it's out of the WordPress directory, so it can't, and it doesn't really matter. That's my own. It's pretty much saying this is your own issue. I can't scan this. And the firewall again, that'll turn on August 6th. I'll probably just roll this back to where we actually had WordFence installed earlier. But
Yeah, what
that's
is the server state? Why does it have that triangle with, for the scan?
let's see.
It has that.
I think that just means it's in the process of doing it. And or look, so it does other things too. It's saying that you have updates on plugins. Some of them, like this one says critical. This is Advanced Custom Fields Pro, which does need to be updated, which we just bought. So I can update this as well. Um, you already know about this critical because you're the one that told me about it.
Yeah, they sent out that alert that everything that has is operated in the old advanced custom fields needs to be updated due to the most recent vulnerabilities, and it's best to do it right away and not wait for that.
Mm. Yeah, I don't know what the server state is. I mean, maybe it was because it was looking for things, but I don't. Unless it has to do with this right here, server state. They should have icon. They should have what's it called? A pictogram.
Yeah, pictogram. Let's add
Not
that.
sure. Add this to the uh, word
Wish
fence.
list, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean that also goes right into the next topic of open issues. But did you want to say anything else about word fence while I stretch my fingers?
I would just say if you don't have WordFence and you're not using any security, you need to get it ASAP. It's free version. It's easy to sign up, as you saw. It sends you a key. You put the key in, and just making sure to get those alerts so your site is secure. And in the meantime, you're really treading on scary waters having a website with no security at all. So this is an option for sure that's free.
Yeah, there's other ones out there. You could do it manually as well. You can prevent things in htaccess file or config files, but this does it all. It's pretty low level. It doesn't, I've never really seen any sort of speed issue with it being installed. So we usually always install it on our client sites. But to the next issue, what if there is a problem with WordFence or others? What we really want to talk today is about the open issues. Well, it's not really what we wanted to, but I just wanted to add it on. Open issues inside of plugins. So each plugin that's on WordPress can be, but usually is developed by somebody. like an external developer, a company or something. Some of them are not. There'll be WordPress plugins that are developed by Automatic, which is the company that owns WordPress. But most of them, I would say, if you start looking at these right in the middle, you'll see by Five Fawn or by WP Soul, by Pinewise, by Strategy 11. Who are these people? You know, so you really never know what you're installing. Besides things like that's not a good. That wasn't a good one to look at. Let's go to redirection. It's a popular one. You'll see these ratings. This is what we will always base off of before installing a plugin. How many ratings, what the average rating is, how much usage, the last time it was updated, and how cool the author's name is. So
Mhm.
that's not sure. We don't do that. And active installations. 2 million. That's insane. So, but what happens when you have an issue with a plugin? There's many steps to take. We won't go over them here, like disabling plugins one by one. You can use a WordPress performance checker, which does that for you. You can go into FTP and put an underscore before plugins, and it'll disable them. You can do the same thing for themes. So those are some of the things you can do to check. But what if it's just a plugin problem that maybe needs an update or doesn't play well with another plugin? That's where this part comes in into play. So on here, you're going to see links to how to install it, FAQs if there are any, things that were updated in the last update, screenshots. That's more for people that are looking at this plugin and saying, oh, maybe I do want this or maybe I don't. Has reviews, but what good is this once you have it installed? Nobody really cares. But on the plugin page itself, you'll see a link here. That's going to go right to the repo. The repo is where all plugins and themes are stored that are within WordPress. You can always buy them elsewhere, Code Canyon, Theme Forest, but this is where you'll find most of them. On here, depending on the plugin, you might see a support. When you click support, you're going to go right to this lovely forum, and you're going to see things are going on. This is from 19 minutes ago, and it's in Spanish. So usually it's in English.
No se puede.
No se puede cargar. Redirection. V542. That do good?
Yes.
Thank you.
542. Yes.
So when there's issues that arise, which are frequent, I would say WordPress is a very stable thing, but sometimes when there's major releases, like going to next one is WordPress 7, or major releases in plugins or themes that you might have, like if Avada comes out with a new thing and you're using, sorry to break your bubble, but it's such a bad theme. But when they go from Avada major to another major one, a lot of stuff breaks, and you do have to go into these plugins, hopefully on staging or on local, and solve that issue before it doesn't work on the site. So what we're trying to say is that on this repo on support, which most of the plugins have, you can find what you're looking for here. If there's an issue, if a white screen of death, or if you see something weird, you can find it, and you can see the replies too. So like this guy or woman, doesn't matter. They're saying every visit is a 404. Obviously that's not true, right? Because we just installed it. I mean, maybe it is if I go to the site. The whole site's a 404. It's not. So that means, in this case at least, it's something
User
else. Yeah, user error. They have something else that is installed, obviously, because if it didn't happen to us on a clean machine, we call it, or a clean site, something that they're doing is wrong. This one seems to be unsolved, right? And he even says here, for example, maybe a plugin or theme is loading the page in an unusual way. Maybe the person solved it. They should come back here and say, thanks so much, John Godley. That's the person that created this plugin, right?
ungodly.
He's very godly. Shout out to John. But a lot of these issues that you can find are going to be inside of here, because especially if a plugin is well used, if everybody's having that issue, this is the first place I would go to. Usually I'll Google it first, but you're going to end up here at the end. And whether it's Stack Overflow, Reddit, or here, this is going to be the most up to date. And it should be as well, because it's all internal. You don't want to go to an external site and look for help unless you can't find it here. And then go out, go west, young man. Take it away, Raina. I need to catch my breath.
Yeah, so this is a great tip that Tony said, to just know that this exists. Um, Open issues, check support, because a lot of the times when we're having any type of issue, we're going to first check any forums or support channels to see what is the most recent issue that they're having. Is it a common error that is happening? Is it just us? Is it, tied to a specific scenario that we're going on our website, certain other plugins that are having issues? So first step in troubleshooting really is to check supports, check the open issues, the most recent open issues, and then you can really save a lot of time searching and figuring out what the issue is by first seeing if somebody else is having the same issue.
Yeah. And if you ever feel I'm yawning.
Ah,
If you ever feel motivated and you're a developer like us, you can go in here and say, "What are the unresolved topics? Let me help." So you can actually jump in anywhere. You just need an account, and if you want to help, I've helped people on Stack Overflow and here.
that's
That's not
great.
my
That's giving back to the community, you know?
as I said, that's not my thing. You said that's great. It's not.
Well,
I
you've
would
done
say,
it. You've done
yeah,
it.
I have. I like to help, but it's not like I'm going out and looking to help. Some people are like that. They're like, "Hey, I have nothing to do right now. Let me go help some people," which is great, but I feel like I don't have time for that. But if you did want to, you can go to unresolved topics. Same thing on Stack Overflow. You can sort by, and you get points there where you don't get points here. They should make it a point system. But from here, you can go to any plugin. You don't have to stay on the redirection. You can, this is like an amazing resource to have if you're learning WordPress, if you're just using a WordPress site. They go over everything: how to install locally, how to install it in general, accessibility, alpha, beta versions in case you want to test the next one, or even roll back to an older one. And again, down with these topics, so you can even see across, which my word, what was it? Traverse across plugins and across themes. You can see and topics, because look, installing WordPress, like this would be a great place to practice, I guess, if you're in here and you're like, I know how to do, we know all this stuff, so we could go in there and help. And the replies are 0, some of them. So let's just make this our job. We just help people all day for free.
Oh, we do. That is our job, actually. A lot of what we do is helping
Yeah,
with people's issues that they're having with their website.
that's true. Yep. Yeah, so that is WordFence. Easy to install. I would say essential. They have other products too. These are more for sites that are bigger, sites that are using CLI, which is a terminal that connects to it. Look, they even says, "Have you been hacked? Get help." They probably sell it. WordFence, yeah. Look at that. I wonder how much it is. Premium. No price, no care. Let me close it down. I like your graphic. You're welcome. Let's turn that off. Okay. So, did you want to talk? I know you were talking about whistleblowers. We didn't really mention
Oh,
the word.
that's a national day today. It's Whistleblower Day, and we were relating it to the fact that WordPress developers in the community, we all pitch in and will alert the WordPress community if there are any issues, and that's so important. And I know whistleblow, there's a different context here, but it's really the same thing, because we're alerting about issues that we're having to prevent somebody else from having the same issues. And really, is that what a whistleblower is? They're
Yeah.
letting them know that something bad is happening and it should be addressed.
Yep.
And that's what we really love about WordPress community, the fact that everyone is working together and are providing these insights to kind of get people to be prepared and understand, okay, you need to act. There needs to be action done because we can't control the things that happen around us when it comes to hackers and vulnerabilities, but we can be proactive.
Yeah, and one thing that developers or plugin developers can't control sometimes is that they can't test for every plugin, you know. So if there's a plugin on somebody's site that they haven't tested against, it could break their own plugin. So when you do comment on these forums, it can alert that developer, oh, there is an issue with this plugin and my plugin. So, and those are things that are hard to identify unless someone actually tells you. Like Page Generator Pro, I have written the guy multiple times now about things, and he's very responsive and kind. He's a great I mean, I pay for the plugin, so that's probably why. But it's only 99 a year. It's one of the best plugins. I still want to do a live stream on it. I have so many things to say about it. And they're always releasing, like every couple days it'll be like Page Generator Pro version 9.6.6. I think that's what the version they're on to right now. This is the new stuff, and there's always cool stuff. Too much stuff for me to even wrap my head around sometimes. Like, I want to do everything with this plugin. The other plugin I've been really into is Green Shift, which has been really cool in adding different types of layouts and stuff inside of the full screen editor for WordPress. We'll go over that sometime too on one of these future live streams, like a demo.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Yeah. Oh, the other thing about whistleblowing is that in the Olympics, somebody blew the whistle. We think it was another teammate on another.
Oh,
You
this
saw
is
that story?
yeah.
You remember the story? That's all I kind of know. There was a girl, and she saw her boyfriend, and then some other team of another country blew the whistle, blow the whistle, blow the whistle, and she said that part. And they, what did they do? Kick her out?
Well, I don't know the details. I just saw the
Look it up.
headline, and it said that, somebody from the USA and well, I don't know if it's the country, don't quote me on this, but there was an athlete that was disqualified for sneaking away with her boyfriend, and that's it. That's all I know, and it was a competing athlete, and she was kicked out of the competition. Swimmer, that's all I know. So if you
Uh,
Google that, I mean, I guess if we Google it, we'll find more details. I don't
yeah,
really know what she was doing, but she wasn't following the rules, they said. So somebody must have said something. I'm sure it wasn't her.
yeah. Imagine she was like, "I've been with my boyfriend." Sorry. Yeah, so we made up this whole lore about it, pretty much. It was definitely Simone Biles that called her out. I'm just kidding. It's not even the
It's
same story.
swimming.
Just kidding. Yeah, so whistleblowing, in many terms, it can be good, it can be annoying, especially for her. But why is she going to see her boyfriend on the like? Pay attention. Save that for later, right?
Yeah.
Or
Oh, we're getting some bad connection here.
I don't know. You want to call it quits there? We have to go get chocolate.
Yeah, I did want a final word. So let's see. Do you have anything open?
I closed all my stuff, and let me just
Hold on.
yeah, let me I don't know. How about
Give it a minute. Give it a minute.
okay. Let me turn off my camera.
Just waiting on this connection. It says it's unstable. Okay, so I guess I'll do my final word. Hopefully, I don't get cut off my voice. But to go along with our live today about word fence and security, there's a famous quote by Ben Franklin that says, "If you fail to prepare, you prepare to fail." And that really resonates with today's live, making sure that you're prepared, your website is prepared in case vulnerabilities come about. Thinking ahead is so crucial in this day and age, yeah, for your website and in life in general. So that is my final word.
That was beautiful. I
Thank
didn't realize
you.
I was mute that whole time talking to you, going, "No, no, do it." You're like, "I'm all alone."
I know,
Uh,
I was like, do I just wait here? He left.
Tony,
I
right.
was waiting and then the connection got better, so it
Yeah,
worked
so
out.
it was nice to be here as always. We'll be back tomorrow. We have to go get chocolate and a child and at, at the same time. So we'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's broadcast. What is it?
Dark mode, I think? Oh, no, WordPress training. Oh, and we have WordPress training tonight.
We skipped dark mode and we went right to open issues.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
We have an open issue right now. So we'll be back with dark mode tomorrow. We're switching it up. See, you never know what we're gonna do. If you've been listening to the secret keyword, you have to listen to yesterday's show because I'm not saying it again. Good luck. Friday we'll
All right.
announce the winner.
Good one, guys.
Stop.
Bye.
It's not the fire. Ah.